political parties intensify mobilization ahead of the 2027 general elections. The ruling party is expected to take its campaign to states and communities across the country, with President Bola Tinubu's administration's economic policies and infrastructure programs expected to feature prominently in its message to voters. Oyiza Daneka joins us now with details.
The APC is expected to use the campaign period to highlight what is described as achievements of the Tinubu administration since it assumed office. Economic reforms, investment, infrastructure development, and efforts to improve government revenue are expected to form part of the party's campaign narrative. The ruling party is also likely to face questions from voters over the effect of economic reforms on households. The ruling party is also likely to face questions from voters over the effect of economic reforms on households, particularly the rising cost of essential goods and services. Security will equally feature prominently as political parties seek to convince Nigerians that they have the right strategies to tackle terrorism, banditry, kidnapping, and other forms of violent crime. The APC's nationwide mobilization will see party leaders and supporters engage with voters at different levels as the party seeks to consolidate its political strength ahead of the presidential and other elections. The coming months are therefore expected to witness increased political activities across the country. Dan Eka Oiza for Skyline TV News.
Let's turn to other stories for you. President Bola Tinubu has challenged Nigerian universities to move beyond a predominantly certificate-based education system and focus more on producing job creators. The president says universities must prepare their students for an economy increasingly shaped by technology, innovation, and artificial intelligence (AI). The call comes amid concerns about graduate unemployment and the growing gap between academic qualifications and the skills demanded by employers. The Kano State government has launched a 27.8 billion ICT and computer-based testing project aimed at expanding digital examination facilities across the state. The initiative is designed to take computer-based examinations and related digital infrastructure closer to students, particularly those outside major urban centers. Officials say the project is expected to improve access to digital learning and examinations while helping students become more familiar with technology-driven assessments. We're taking a quick break here on the evening news. We have more stories up ahead. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. At least 570 people were killed in 596 security incidents recorded across Nigeria in July, and that's according to a report by security intelligence firm Sari Global. The report identified rural banditry, terrorism, and other violent crimes among major threats recorded during the month. The figures have renewed concerns over the country's security situation, particularly as Nigeria approaches the 2027 election season. The growing threat of school abductions continues to raise concern across Nigeria, with terrorists and bandit groups using kidnapping as a tool for ransom and psychological warfare. Recent attacks have highlighted the vulnerability of schools in parts of northern Nigeria, where students and staff remain targets for criminal groups. Security agencies face increasing pressure to protect educational institutions and prevent further disruption of schooling in communities affected by insecurity. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has arrested 80 suspected drug offenders during raids on drug joints in Kano State. The agency also dismantled 16 locations described as notorious drug joints during the operation. The operation forms part of efforts by security and law enforcement agencies to disrupt drug trafficking and abuse, which officials say contributes to crime and insecurity. Delta State has inducted the SSV Kali 3 security support vessel As part of efforts to combat oil theft, illegal bunkering, and other maritime crimes, the vessel is expected to strengthen surveillance of waterways and protect critical oil and gas infrastructure in the Niger Delta. Authorities say the initiative will complement ongoing security operations aimed at protecting Nigeria's energy assets and reducing crude oil losses. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Wade Shaibu has urged the Nigerian Army's Combat Service Short Corps to strengthen logistics support for military operations. The Army leadership says effective logistics remain essential to sustaining troops and ensuring operational readiness. The directive comes as the military continues operations against terrorism, banditry, and other forms of insecurity across several parts of the country. Let's turn to business for you. Nigeria's Federation account has recorded a significant revenue increase in July, allowing the three tiers of government to share 3.00 trillion naira. Statutory collections rose by 658.09 billion naira, while gross VAT revenue recorded a slight decline during the period under review. The increased allocation provides additional fiscal space for the federal government, states, and local councils as they grapple with rising expenditure and development needs. Nigeria's crude oil production has continued to rise, with production reportedly reaching about 1.67 million barrels per day in July. The improvement comes amid efforts to reduce pipeline losses and strengthen security around oil-producing areas. The increase is important for government revenue and foreign exchange earnings, with oil remaining a major source of Nigeria's dollar income. Nigeria's National Economic Council has approved the refinancing of an oil-backed financing facility linked to NNPC Limited. The refinancing package is valued at about $4.5 billion and is aimed at restructuring existing oil-backed financing. The move comes as Nigeria continues efforts to strengthen the finances of its petroleum sector and improve the country's fiscal position. The cost of living remains one of the major economic issues confronting Nigerians as the country enters another election cycle. Although the government's reforms have attracted investor interests and improved some macroeconomic indicators, households continue to face pressure from high prices and reduced purchasing power. The economic situation is expected to become one of the biggest campaign issues, with political parties likely to offer competing solutions to inflation, unemployment, and household hardship. We go on another quick break. When we return, we move the news to the foreign scene and then take a look at sports for you. Please don't go away. Many thanks for staying with us. Let's now look at stories beyond our shores. United States President Donald Trump says there are currently no talks scheduled with Iran, despite statements from Tehran suggesting that Washington is seeking negotiations. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has accused the U.S. of wanting to negotiate after failing to achieve its objectives through military pressure. The conflicting statements come as tensions remain high over the war and the status of the strategically important Strait of Hormuz. In a related development, the Strait of Hormuz remains at the center of growing tensions between Iran and the United States, with both sides giving conflicting accounts of the situation in the strategic waterway. Washington maintains that the waterway is open, while Tehran says it remains under Iranian control. The dispute is being closely monitored by global energy markets because the Strait is a major route for international oil shipments. And now time for some excitement from the world of sports. Nigeria's Super Falcons are expected to have a new head coach before their 2028 Women's Olympic qualifying campaign begins in October. The move follows the team's disappointing WAFCON campaign and growing calls for changes in the women's national team setup. The coach will face the immediate task of rebuilding the squad and preparing the Falcons for the Olympic qualification campaign. In entertainment, Nigeria's very own queen of Afrobeat, Tiwa Savage, has reached another massive career milestone after official reports confirmed her groundbreaking global deal with Sony Music Entertainment. This major move expands her international reach, giving her unparalleled creative direction and distribution power across global territories. Industry insiders are already calling this one of the most lucrative deals for an African female artist this decade, setting a brand new benchmark for Afrobeats on the world stage. Nollywood powerhouse Funke Akindele continues her unstoppable dominance at the cinemas as her latest blockbuster release, The Market Queen, has officially broken the all-time opening box office record in Nigeria. Tickets sold out across major theaters nationwide over the weekend, surpassing her previous record-breaking releases. Industry analysts attribute this unprecedented success to the film's gripping storytelling, vibrant cultural accuracy, and Akindele's unrivaled marketing genius across the border in West Africa. Congratulations to Fumi Akindele. Many thanks for watching. That's a full cycle here on the evening news. I'm Uyi Agmofwebe. We are grateful for your company.